Welcome to the history of New Zealand. New Zealand's captivating history stretches back for centuries, entwined with the stories of its indigenous Maori people, European explorers, colonial settlements, and the unique cultural fusion that defines the nation today. From its ancient beginnings to the modern era, New Zealand's history is a tale of exploration, conflict, cooperation, and cultural richness. Ancient origins and Maori arrival. Long before European explorers arrived, New Zealand's history was being shaped by the Maori people. Around 1250 AD, Polynesian navigators embarked on an incredible journey, using celestial navigation and the stars to guide them across vast stretches of ocean. These early settlers established themselves in New Zealand, cultivating a deep connection to the land and developing a distinct culture. The Maori brought with them a rich tradition of oral history, art, and societal structures. Their intricate carvings, meeting houses, waranui, and traditional ceremonies reflect their spiritual connection to the natural world and their ancestors. European exploration and colonization. The late 18th century marked the arrival of European explorers on New Zealand's shores. British explorer James Cook's visits in 1769 and 1773 opened the door to further European contact and, eventually, colonization. The Treaty of Waitangi, signed in 1840 between British representatives and Maori chiefs, was a pivotal moment in New Zealand's history, establishing British sovereignty while acknowledging Maori rights and land ownership. The years following the signing of the treaty saw a wave of European settlers arriving in New Zealand, leading to tensions between the settlers and the Maori. Land disputes and cultural differences led to conflicts like the New Zealand Wars, which shaped the nation's early history and had lasting impacts on Maori-European relations. Gold rushes and economic growth. The mid-19th century brought another transformative period to New Zealand's history, the gold rushes. Gold discoveries in places like Otago and the West Coast spurred rapid population growth and economic development. The influx of immigrants, including Chinese prospectors, contributed to the cultural diversity that remains a hallmark of New Zealand today. The gold rushes laid the foundation for New Zealand's agricultural and industrial expansion. The fertile land proved ideal for farming, and the introduction of refrigeration technology in the late 19th century enabled the export of meat and dairy products to overseas markets.
The quest for identity and women's suffrage. As New Zealand developed economically, it also embarked on a journey of self-discovery. The late 19th and early 20th centuries witnessed the rise of a unique national identity, distinct from both British and Maori cultures. This identity was further solidified when New Zealand became a self-governing dominion within the British Empire in 1907. One of the most significant milestones in New Zealand's history was the achievement of women's suffrage in 1893, making it the first self-governing nation in the world to grant women the right to vote in national elections. This groundbreaking achievement reflected the nation's progressive spirit and commitment to equality. World wars and global influence. The 20th century brought its own set of challenges to New Zealand. The country's involvement in both World War I and World War II had profound impacts on its society, economy, and international standing. Thousands of New Zealanders served overseas, forging close ties with other allied nations. After World War II, New Zealand began to assert its voice on the global stage. The nation's decision to oppose nuclear weapons and nuclear-powered vessels in its waters, leading to the famous nuclear-free policy, solidified its stance on peace, disarmament, and environmental sustainability. Cultural renaissance and multiculturalism. The latter half of the 20th century and the early 21st century saw a cultural renaissance in New Zealand. Maori culture experienced a resurgence, with efforts to revitalize language, arts, and traditions. The concept of biculturalism gained prominence, recognizing the dual heritage of both Maori and European settlers. New Zealand's multicultural landscape expanded with the arrival of immigrants from diverse parts of the world, contributing to a vibrant and inclusive society. The fusion of cultures is celebrated in events like the annual Pacifica Festival, which showcases the rich heritage of Pacific Island communities in New Zealand.
New Zealand's history is a dynamic tapestry woven with threads of indigenous heritage, exploration, cultural exchange, and social progress. From the remarkable voyages of Maori navigators to the nation's pursuit of women's rights and its commitment to a nuclear-free stance, each chapter of New Zealand's history reflects its people's resilience, innovation, and determination. As New Zealand continues to navigate the challenges and opportunities of the modern world, its history remains an integral part of its identity. The nation's rich past serves as a foundation upon which New Zealanders build their future, embracing their diverse roots while striving for unity, equality, and a sustainable way of life.